Right, 1 second.
Yeah, you've done
Yes,
it.
it's
I see you
recording.
recording.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome everybody to our Monday motivation call. Guys, like you always know, like every single Monday, we want to start up with the right mindset. We know that mindset is like 90 to 99% success in this thing. So every Monday we tune in to just listen to how we can really help to reprogram our minds and be in the correct mindset to be able to succeed. Now today we have a very, very, very special individual that's very dear to my heart who's going to be leading out in this mindset call. Now this young lady is an absolute beast. The skills that she has is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, she's mentored me for years to be able to reach where I am today. If it wasn't for her, half the experiences I've been through wouldn't have actually happened. So this is somebody that I highly respect and was actually over the moon when she decided to join because I knew exactly what it's going to bring. So I'm not going to waste too much of her time. So I'm going to hand it over. So please help me welcome Afriyie. Over to you, Afriyie.
Thank you, Michael. I'm going to mute you now, if that's okay. Right, I've muted you. All right, let's see if I'm muted. All right, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so excited. This is my first Zoom call for IML, and I actually feel honored that Michael invited me so early on to do this Zoom call. So I'm really excited about that. Before I go into my talk, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background, just in case for those who don't know me. So my name is Afriyie, and I've got a 22-year-old son who's also part of IML. And I began my journey in business back in school, but I didn't actually know that my journey was in business. So I actually left school at 14 because the way how the school system was back in the 80s, it just didn't fit the way how I learned. And I was very entrepreneurial back then, but I didn't know it. I was always selling something or selling an idea. So I left school at the age of 14. I had my son at the age of 17. And then I decided to buckle down and get serious at the age of 19. So when I turned 19, I went to university, and I had to, well, before going to university, I had to get my GCSEs. I had to get all my education, A-levels, then go to university, get my degree. And then when I finished university, the first job that I got was a business advisor, but I had blagged my way through it. Didn't have any experience, managed to convince them to hire me. And that's when my career began. And when I was a business advisor, I just realized that work wasn't for me. The structure of work, I used to get frustrated. I used to get frustrated with employees because of the employee mindset and not knowing that I had an entrepreneurial mindset, a business mindset. But employees used to frustrate me. But CEOs and business owners, I used to get on with because I used to think like them. And so, like Michael, my jobs didn't last long because I'll get frustrated and leave, but didn't realize that the 9 to 5 wasn't for me. I eventually had my own business. I had a shop in East Dulwich. I learned cosmetic science, and I was making my own skincare products. This was almost about 15 years ago when natural skincare wasn't the in thing. So it was really good at the time, very lucrative business. And then the recession hit quite badly, and my shop was in East Dulwich. And for those who know East Dulwich, it's a very middle class area, and most of the women who used to buy my products were married to people who were in the banking industry, men that was in the banking industry. So when the recession hit, literally you could hear a pin drop in my shop. And also I was going through some personal issues as well at the same time. So I decided to fold the shop up. To be honest with you, I didn't have the strength to push through it because I was getting opposition from all ends. And I was very lucky. I was in a sought after area. So the landlord was able to rent out the shop again, and he let me out of my lease. So that was really lucky. And then I went into the exhibitions industry. Again, I'd never worked in it, but managed to convince them to hire me on a managerial position. Did really well in there, and discovered that I actually passionate about sales, passionate about training, and passionate about coaching. So I got my coaching qualifications. I got my CIPD in training and development. And I specialize now in sales training and business development and coaching. So that's kind of my background at the moment. And I also help companies get their products into the supermarkets. So that's a little bit about me. So I'm going to talk to you about mindset, which is an area that I love. I love mindset. And the reason why I love mindset is because business is 99% mindset. And if you don't believe me, there is a guy, I always get his surname wrong, but you'll probably know him. He's somebody, if you know his name, type it in the chat box. But he has no arms and no legs. And he's a motivational speaker. He's written books. He's done a lot in business. And so that shows you that business is about mindset. He has no arms. He has no legs. Yet he's a multi-millionaire. He's written so many books, and he's a motivational speaker, and he's living his purpose. So he's a great example. Forgive me, I will get the name of the guy by the end of this meeting, hopefully. Right, so I'm going to start off with a story, and then I'm going to break down a story and link it to mindset. So I don't know if anybody has ever heard of Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington was born a slave, and when he was a boy, slavery had ended. So there was the emancipation, and it was the end of slavery. And he had always wanted to read. He always had a passion for education. But obviously, when it came to education, as you know, if you was black, you wasn't allowed to read and write at the time. So he was never, you get killed if you was caught reading and you was caught writing. Oh, thank you, Nikki. 22-year-old son. I don't look old enough. Thank you. Sorry. So basically, he decided that once they were free as slaves, his goal was to learn how to read. Now, you've got to remember that he was in the South. And in the South, it was a very hostile environment. And so therefore, there was nowhere for a Negro to learn how to read. But he had learned that there was one school in the North that was taking on black people to teach them how to read. So Booker T. Washington set out, and he walked from the South to the North. Now, this is America. America, to walk from the South to the North, is not like walking from here to Liverpool or Scotland. It's like walking from here to Germany or even further. That's the distance. That's the ratio. And remember, he's got no shoes. Remember, he was a slave. So he's not going to have any money. He's not going to have belongings, and he's not going to have any shoes. But Booker T. Washington had a goal, and he wanted to learn how to read and write. So he set off to go to that school. And I think it took him just under a year to reach there. He would obviously sleep under a bush. He would, sneak on they had these wagons. He'd probably sneak at the back of it to get there. But he made it. And when he got there, he was obviously filthy. He was obviously very tired. He was obviously worn looking. So when he knocked on the door, the teacher opened it, the owner of the school, and immediately slammed the door because he looked an absolute state. And they were like, shoo, go away. So what did Booker T. Washington do? Do you think that he left and started to walk back? No. He decided, I'm going to knock on the door the next day and ask them again. So those days, they used to have the raised pavement. So he slept under the pavement. And then he got out the next day, and he knocked on the door and said, I want to learn how to read and write. Guess what? Did you think that the owner of the school let him in? No. They slammed the door in his face and told him to shoo. He did that for several weeks. I think he did it for a good few months of knocking on the door and they telling him no. Until finally they said, you know what, you're a nuisance. Come in. We've just lost our cleaner. If you clean the school, at the end, you can sit at the back of the classroom, learn some few things, and that's how we're going to teach you. So Booker T. Washington ended up cleaning the school. And again, it's not no fancy cleaning job. It was tough. So he'd be cleaning the school from morning till night. And then in the nighttime, he would then sit at the back of the class and then teach himself how to read. So this went on for a while. And then one day, the head of the district of the schools came to visit that particular school. And when they came to visit, they said, who has been cleaning that school? Because obviously they visited before and the cleaner that was cleaning before wasn't as good. But they said, who is cleaning that school? There is a difference in the cleaning. So the head of the school got Booker T. Washington and said, this is the guy. And the district head said, my goodness, we've never had our school looking like this. Well done. What are you doing? Are you just a cleaner? And Booker T. Washington said, sir, I'm a cleaner, but I really want to learn how to read and write. So they said, fine, you know what? You're not going to be at the back of the classroom in the nighttime anymore. We're going to upgrade you to be in the classroom. So he was obviously very happy and he went into the classroom to be learning how to read and write. But he was so fast at it and he was so good and he picked up so quickly. The teacher then said, you know what, we're going to make you a teaching assistant. You're going to help the others who are slow to learn to read and write. And so that's what happened. So Booker T. Washington was not only learning how to read and write, he was also assisting those who were struggling how to read and write. So he did that so well that they upgraded him to be a teacher in one of the classrooms. And again, he did that so well that they upgraded him to kind of manage a few classrooms. And again, he did that so well that one day there was a school that was struggling and failing. And they asked him to go and manage that school and be a head of that school. To cut a long story short, at the end of Booker T. Washington's life, he had set up a university. It's called the Tuskegee University. And if you go to America, that university is there today. And it especially helps struggling Black people who want an education. That university is there today. By the end, when Booker T. Washington died, the president was at his funeral. He had singers, he had famous people at his funeral because he had contributed so much to education. This is somebody who was born a slave. He had hostility all around him. Yet when it was his death, when he had died, he had presidents at his funeral, he had famous people at his funeral, he had heads of state at his funeral. And although he's dead, his legacy is still living on. The university is still living on, and it is helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people today. Now, Booker T. Washington is one of my favorite people, and I've got his books and everything. And I really encourage you to learn more about Booker T. Washington, because for me, he's an inspiration to me, because you can't have had a worse start in life. I mean, you was born a slave. And so for me, to be born a slave and then to end up having presidents at your funeral, I mean, I take my hats off to him. He's an incredible guy. So what has that got to do with IML? Well, I'm going to link it. So basically, Booker T. Washington, number one, was born a slave. And when it comes to mindset, you cannot regard your circumstances of where you are right now. Mindset, people who have a positive mindset live in the future. They have a goal and they disregard what is going on right now, and all they can see is a goal. Booker T. Washington disregarded the fact that he was born a slave. He disregarded the fact that he was Black. Obviously, it's a reality. He can see it. But in spite of that, for him, his goal was he wanted to learn how to read and write. So to have the right mindset in IML whatever your circumstances is or whatever's going on, you have to push beyond that. If you want a positive mindset, you have to think, what is my goal? And that is why when you join the Kairos Empire, the first thing your upline or Michael asks is, what is your goal? Where do you want to be? Because unless you have that, you're going to give in to all sorts of things that's going on. So one, Booker T was challenged because he was born a slave and he was black, and that skin color could get you killed. Number two, guess what? Imagine the other slaves and what they would have said to him when he told them he's going to learn how to read and write. Can you imagine those with the slave mentality? They would have told him, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You're black. You could get killed going to the north. There's ain't no way they're going to teach a Negro. He must have got so much negative feedback from people, but his mindset was so strong, he didn't regard what people were saying. And that's exactly the same with IML. You could go and you could get excited. You signed up. Yes, you've heard Michael's presentation. Your upline has signed you up. You're so excited. And then you go and call the first few people and they tell you, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Oh, it's this. Oh, I don't like network marketing. Don't want to know. And, you know, some of the people that I'm mentoring, they literally give up. They give up because of the negative feedback that they get. But you know what? Another thing about mindset is there's something that you've got to get over, and that is yourself. You have to get over yourself in business because people are going to give you negative feedback. And that's with any business. When I said I was going to do my organic skincare products, do you know how many people told me, are you mad? Who's going to buy your product? Who's going to buy African black soap? This was 15 years ago when it wasn't that popular. If Michael listened to the naysayers, he wouldn't be where he is today. So yes, this is reality. You're going to pick up the phone and people are probably going to even tell you to F off. Some people are going to tell you it's a pyramid scheme. They're going to say all sorts. But you have to see the bigger picture. You have to see the goal. If Booker T. Washington listened to all the slave mentality, we wouldn't have the university today. So that's the first lesson about mindset, is you have to have a goal. You recognize your situation, but you have to move beyond that. And you have to literally ignore the naysayers. And you are going to get objections. You are going to get doors slammed in your face. But guess what? That's life. That's business. That's going to give you a thick skin. You're going to learn how not to pitch, what other way that you can do it. This is good training ground for you. So the second point that I want to raise with this story is when Booker T. Washington was going to the north, he is definitely going to experience hardship along the way. There's going to be different weather conditions. You think it's always going to be sunny? No, he would have had to have gone through all the seasons. Snow. He's a slave. He doesn't have a coat. He doesn't have shoes. Harsh sun, wind. He's going to probably have mosquitoes and animals, hunger, thirst. So he had harsh conditions, but he pushed through it. What harsh conditions are you facing at the moment when it comes to your life or when it comes to IML? That is going to come. The seasons are always going to be there. Winter will always come. But guess what? You have to push through it because winter doesn't last forever. Booker T. Washington had to walk for almost a year to get to his goal. And he would have experienced, can you imagine if he would have met white people along the way at that time? He could have got killed. Or he could have been captured again and made a slave illegally. So you do face hardships when you are selling, when you are promoting, when you are in business. It's just the landscape, but you have to push through it. So that's another lesson that I wanted to share in terms of, despite the hardships, despite having so many people telling you no, you have to push through it to get to your goal, because anybody that has made it has not made it easily. If they say they have, they're lying to you. They would have experienced hardship. So the next lesson that I want to talk about is when Booker T. Washington finally got to his destination, he must have been very excited, knocking on the door, and then, yes, you know, they're going to allow me in and I'm going to start learning how to read and write. Well, guess what? They slammed the door in his face. Not once, but for several months. For some people, you might get several no's. You might get several no's. But guess what? Booker T. Washington did not give up because he believed in his dream. He believed in it so much that he didn't care how many times he had to knock on that door. He was knocking at that door until he got his yes. You know, people like Madonna. You think Madonna, it was handed to her on a plate? Madonna got so many no's in Hollywood. There was a time she was sleeping on friends' floor. She was sleeping on sofas. But she believed in her dream so much to sing. And Madonna her singing is not even that amazing. You know, Madonna is very known for her performances and everything else. And there's probably people who are busking whose voice is better than Madonna. But what makes a busker different to Madonna? What makes it different is Madonna never gave up. When Hollywood slammed the door in her face several times, she never gave up. She pushed through because she believed in her passion. She believed in her dream and her goal. And Booker T. Washington did not give up. Every single day he would knock on that door, and every single day they told him no. And he kept on, and he kept on, and he kept on until they said yes. Now they've said yes, and the answer he's probably hoping for is, yes, we can teach you, come and sit in the classroom. But it wasn't the case. He had to clean the school. And sometimes we may look at our upline or may look at Michael and think, yes, you know, I've signed up to IML. So in like a month's time, I'm going to get I'm going to be on 5K a month. And yes, it can be done. And yes, there are people who have done that. But generally speaking, if you haven't achieved that in 2 weeks' time, don't be disappointed. If you haven't achieved that in a week's time, don't give up. Everybody's journey is different. Stay in your lane. You know, let that motivate you to push through, but don't let that discourage you to say that this person in my team is doing this and I haven't done that, so therefore it doesn't work. Let that be your motivator. Let that be your encouragement, but don't give up on that because everybody's journey is different. He never necessarily got taught to teach straight away. He went through a different route, but he never gave up. The next point that I want to make is that when he did start the cleaning, he did it so well, okay, that they recognized that his cleaning was different to the other cleaners. Whatever you do, do it well. Be proud of what you're in. You know, sometimes when people sell something, especially when I've kind of heard how some, you know, sell IML, it's almost like you're apologetic. It's like, you know, I've got this network marketing, or I've got this this product that I want to know. No, be proud of it. Be passionate about your product. Do it well. Yes, Morayo. My dad always said that whatever you do, do it well. Definitely. Do it well. You're selling a product that is changing people's lives. Don't apologize for it. Don't shrink back. Right, I think I've been talking too much because it's saying that I've got 10 minutes, so I better hurry up. But yeah, don't shrink back. Don't apologize for it. For me, I started just over a month ago, and in my first week, I booked 3 people, and now I'm on 8 people, and I've just been there for over a month. And the reason why, for me, I'm passionate about it. When I sell it, I hold my head up high. I think that I'm selling a great product that's going to change somebody's life. I'm providing a solution to your problem. That's how I sell it. And so whenever you're selling IML, sell it with passion. Sell it with the fact that you're changing people's lives. Understand your product. Learn about it. Be passionate about it. Be around people who are also passionate about it. Believe in what you're doing, because people buy people. People joined me and I didn't even know, I hadn't even watched all the videos. But they still joined. Why? Because they saw my passion. So people buy from people. So what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? Because I'm a Christian, so I'm going to quote scripture. But the scripture says that wisdom leaves a legacy for its children's children's children. That's what it says in Proverbs. This business opportunity, this business it gives you an opportunity to leave a legacy for your children's children. What's his name? Booker T. Washington. He left today. People are still eating the fruits of his labor. They are still doing it. They're going to the school and they're benefiting from his legacy. That's what this business can do for you. It can give you a legacy for his children's children's children. And just I'm going to go on a bit on a bunny trail here, because, you know, for those whose mindset is, oh, this is too hard. Oh, it's too much hard work. Yes, I agree. It is hard work, but nothing worth having comes cheap. But I'm sorry, if you was to start a business from scratch, that business is way more harder work. Trust me, I've set up businesses. This is done for you. It's a system that is already prepared for you. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is share the opportunity and present. You've got the materials, you've got the links, the system is already built for you. You're joined to Kairos, which has so much support. You know, people like Michael, people like Des, people like Nikki, who are putting all these events on for you, who are putting on these Zoom calls. It's all done for you. So this mindset of it's too hard, oh my gosh, when you set up your own business, you will know what hard is. You will know what's hard when you have to start something from scratch. Michael told me about this opportunity in December, but he didn't tell me the business side of it. He told me the trading side of it. And I shut down when I heard trading. But as soon as I knew the business side of it, for me, I said, this is a no-brainer. This is a ready-made system in a box that's already done. All I have to do is share the opportunity. It's done for you. The only thing that's stopping you is mindset. That's the only thing that's stopping you, is your mindset. Change your mindset. Feed your mind. We are the sum total of the decisions we made yesterday. If you don't like your today, change your choices so that your tomorrow can be better. Change your choices, because you are the sum total of all the decisions you've made yesterday. So change your choices. From today, make up your mind, if this is for you, that I'm going to change my mindset. Take a nugget from something that I've taught, whether it's something that inspired you from the story of Booker T. Washington, or something that I said about mindset. But take one thing, if this applies to you, and make a decision today that my mindset is going to change. You know? And again, I haven't got the time. Well, it's not I haven't got the time, it's priorities. I'm actually a very busy woman. I've got so much things going on. And when you're a part of a church, you have also loads of church activities. I have mentees that I mentor. I have a business Bible study group that I have to do. I have clients. I have all of these things. We're all busy. And I have my son as well. We're all busy. But it's about priorities, because the same people who tell me they're busy, they'll spend however long on the phone or watching a program or doing whatever. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But your passion, your goal will prioritize your time. It will, you know. And another thing as well is everybody's strategy is different. So for me, when people used to call me and say, you know, they've got an aloe vera product, network marketing, or a pill that they wanted me to get involved in, I used to get a little bit offended because these people never was in my life. They never called me, and all of a sudden they called me because they wanted me to join their network marketing. So I felt offended. I felt used. So I don't particularly use that strategy. Other people might use it, and I'm not knocking it. But for me, IML is in my everyday conversation. I don't even sell it. It's in my everyday conversation. So example, I was in a car with somebody and I was like, oh, what do you do? And he was like, they were in banking. And I was like, oh, you're in banking. So talk to me about the different departments in banking. And he was talking about the different departments. I was like, oh, is there a Forex department? And he was like, yeah. I said, okay, I'm learning how to trade. And that conversation sparked off from there. So in your sales strategy, use it in your everyday. When you see somebody who's a fashionista, and they don't need to tell you that they're a fashionista. It's in their clothes, it's in their behavior. When somebody's a motivational speaker, they don't need to come to you and say, I'm a motivational speaker. You can see in the way how they're encouraging, the way how they speak. So for me, I don't go out and sell IML. It's part of you. It's your passion. You're talking about it. I don't sit down and start a long list of somebody that I haven't spoken to 15 years ago. Oh, let me phone them. No, I don't do that. If there is somebody 15 years ago that I think that would benefit from this solution, then I have a strategy. I build relationship with them again and then provide them, sell the opportunity to them. And I think sometimes the strategy is wrong. And then so people get, they get setbacks and then they decide, oh, this is not for me. But you have to look at your strategy, So let IML be everyday part of your conversation. Be passionate about it. Because when you are, people will ask you. Passion is very attractive and people see it and they will want to know more. When you're on your mobile phone and you're trading, someone will see and ask you questions. Have that excitement back again. Have it in your everyday conversation. It was incredible when Des said the fact that the Uber driver signed up. Why? Because he was talking about it in the Uber driver in the car on his way. And for me, from the time you leave your home to go to work and the time that you come from work and come back, you have passed so many opportunities to sell IML. One of my mentors said to me, opportunity is everywhere. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Every single day, every minute, there's an opportunity. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Change the mindset and you will see opportunity. Every single person that you have passed is an opportunity to sell IML. So I've got just over a minute, guys, so I don't want it to cut off in the middle of my speaking. I hope I've provided something. If you got something out of it, type yes in the chat box so that I know that at least I've done something. Thank you so much for logging on. I really love you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you for being an inspiration to me as part of the WhatsApp group. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. And remember, guys, it's all about the mindset. Have an amazing evening and hope to speak to you soon. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.